Good morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. Macron is in the news again, and he is meeting with the Pope to discuss the Ukraine with Vatican officials, apparently. Now, this guy is interesting. In Revelation, it speaks of the Antichrist, who is the world leader, and a false prophet. And people have speculated for a long time who is the Antichrist, and of course, who is the false prophet. And I've spoken of these people before. Macron is an interesting character, and he certainly is continuing to rise and walk the halls of power in the world, especially in Europe. And now he is delving into attempting to create peace in Ukraine. And he is working alongside the Pope, who again is an interesting character for the false prophet, who isn't really declaring Christ Jesus as the only way to heaven and to God, but certainly he has a kind of a checkered past and a checkered theology, and one that is woke and bending towards climate change and these other things, and so these two show up. This is from GotQuestions.com. The false prophet of the end times is described in Revelation 13. He is also referred to as the second beast, Revelation 13:11, 14:3, 19:20, and 20:10, together with the Antichrist and Satan, who empowers both of them. The false prophet is the third party in the unholy Trinity. So the false prophet is a big factor there. And why? Well, because the Antichrist is going to come and rule the world, and he will, and the world will accept him after some sort of catastrophe, a major event, probably economic collapse in World War III. And with him, he's going to have this prophet, or the Bible refers to him as the false prophet. The false prophet will work to bring together all world religions. And certainly the Pope is attempting to bring together world religions in the name of peace. So, and Macron is, as I've said before, he's an interesting character, a potential candidate for an Antichrist figure. French President Emmanuel Macron and Pope held talks Monday when the crisis in Ukraine and prospects for peace there expected to have been their main topic of discussion. The Vatican said their private talks lasted 55 minutes. Now the Now the End Begins website, they're following this, and this particular writer, he seems to have an interest in Macron as well, and so he's following him closely. Now the End Begins Prophecy News podcast. Emmanuel Macron summoned to Vatican for interfaith meeting. So this idea of bringing all the faiths of the world together and mixing them, and you need a strong, prophet or pastor-like leader to bring them all together, and everybody in the world knows the Pope and gives the Pope some sort of respect. And so the world leader needs this sort of religious leader that everybody respects to help him consolidate power. Emmanuel Macron has been summoned for a 3-day interfaith meeting and for closed-door peace plan. And of course, peace plan, that is directly related to the Antichrist, because the Antichrist implements a peace plan in Israel, in the Middle East, for a period of 7 years. This is the deal that's made, and of course we know that he breaks that covenant at the midpoint of the 7-year period and sits on the throne in the third temple, declaring himself to be God. But before that, he is somehow he gets into power, and all the people of the world effectively bow down and give their sovereignty up to him, probably because they're down and out, they're desperate. We've just had a worldwide famine, worldwide economic collapse, and very likely we're at the precipice of nuclear Armageddon, a worldwide war, and possibly destruction of all mankind. And then this Antichrist leader, or this leader at that point, steps in kind of at the peak of the fear and the trouble in this World War III kind of kicking off, and he comes and provides a way of peace. Well, so he's summoned. On Monday, he had an exclusive closed-door meeting with the Catholic king at the Vatican. And he refers to Revelation 13:11 here. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. Emmanuel Macron just concluded his 3rd private door closed meeting with the Roman Pontiff Pope Francis. Why is this man favored more than any other leader? His name certainly keeps popping up, and that's what the writer is asking. Before you answer that, do you know why Macron is there? First, it is to participate in a 3-day interreligious summit, and the Bible, describes the gathering together of world religions. The one world, secondly, it is to discuss in private with the Pope a peace plan for ending the war in Ukraine. And I think this is part of what really brings the world together. And I think part of the peace plan is also going to be peace in the Middle East. The one world religion is up and running and spreading from city to city, from nation to nation, at an alarming rate of speed. On this episode, the writer says, of the Prophecy News podcast, we break it all down and run through a filter of the King James Bible, so you can just see how close we are. But again, he seems to believe that this Macron is a character that's going to stick around and that's going to maybe work with the Pope to be the Antichrist / false prophet combination or duo in the last days. And are they meeting at the right time? Are they talking about the right things? Are they rising to power? Certainly Pope Francis, if you believe the prophecy of the 112th Pope, certainly if you believe that, then he may be the last and final Pope, which would suggest a particular timeline that we're on, and that the time is actually very short. So again, watching Macron, he's in the news. He's trying to create peace, and he's working with the Pope, who would be a great candidate for the man who turns out to be the false prophet in Revelation. So if we are that close to the end, if we are that close to the 7-year period, we would expect to see these things really accelerating, and these folks really being really coming into focus, I guess. So thanks for watching. Consider that. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you guys in the next video.